Hey guys, I'm Victor and I help inventors get to market, truly get to market. I'm doing my best to keep these videos down to 5 minutes or less. There's a lot to talk about. I talk with inventors every day and you'd be surprised how many topics there are. But I wanted to do something, do you a solid, okay? I wanted to first start out with something I introduce to most every inventor before we actually start making these critical next steps with their product, which is vetting your ideas. In order to be successful, you have to have conviction for a singular idea, okay? And I basically condensed it down to a loop, an invention loop, but more like a vetting loop to figure out which ideas deserve your 100% attention, focus, and attention. Don't be like most inventors who have idea here, an idea there, an idea here, and they're kind of dabbling here and there. There's no structure to that. In summary, I want you to look at invention like a job because it is. It's a job. And just like any job, there's protocols, there's steps that you have to follow. There are series of things you need to do to satisfy your job. And so invention is exactly that. First thing I usually start off with is a vetting step. It's more like a loop. And the reason I attribute it to being a loop is because if you determine that something isn't worth your time, you'll give yourself permission to kill it, look at the next idea, examine the next idea, vet it. So really, the loop is very simple. First, you have an idea, which probably you already do. If you've seen this video, you already have an idea. Don't let the dopamine determine or make you make decisions, okay? Don't make any business decisions when you're affected by the dopamine. When you're under the influence of dopamine, which is a kind of like a drug, then you're going to perceive your idea maybe better than it actually is. So you don't want to be affected by that. And maybe it is a great idea. But my suggestion to you is after having the idea, wait a certain period of time. A couple days, week, maybe more. Revisit the idea and see if you can connect the dots just like you connected the dots the moment you had the idea. If that's the case, then you qualify for the next step, which is validating the idea. And this is more like a loose validation. There are some more refined validation techniques, but what I'm talking about is something very loose. Market research, see if there's anything like it. I kind of like it when I see similar stuff because then I can check their metrics and see how well they're doing. If they're doing well, then there's a good chance there's a space for me with my product offering, how I vary the solution. And then the other thing is, family and friends, a lot of times they're biased, but ultimately you want to find enough reasons to put your all into that one idea, okay? I'm talking about true focus. You're going to have several ideas, okay? If you have the unfortunate burden of being extremely creative, you're going to have several ideas. This here is 10 years worth of me coming up with ideas. I made sure to organize them and keep them handy and then revisit some and make certain things if I decide to do so. But I document them and then I let it settle for a minute. Then I go back, and if I can still connect the dots, then that passes my smell test, basically. Then I go out and I figure out, okay, can I loosely validate this? And I'll go into steps beyond this that are going to actually rubber meets the road, where you can actually really nail down what the true opportunity is. But ultimately, this loop is to figure out which idea are you going to have true conviction to pursue. If it's kind of like if it's successful, great. If it's not, I'm not going to really work that hard. Just kill it. Take my advice. Just kill it. The outcome of this loose validation step are really going to be three things. One, you give yourself permission to pursue it further. And I'll get into the next step, which is criteria, what criteria to look for, because it's got to pass two tests. More importantly, though, it's got to pass your test, which is the smell test. Do you even have the conviction, motivation, and interest to see this through? If you don't, it doesn't matter how good the product idea is. It's not going to go anywhere. I've seen this happen time and time again where people kind of loosely, they like the idea. It's like, no, you got to have true conviction. So this loop allows you to parse out what you really like, because these ideas are like your children. You're not going to abandon your children, of course, but you got to get good at doing either three things. One is pursuing it with your heart and mind, your whole heart and mind, until you either get results or find a reason not to. You either freeze it, which is put it on the back burner, maybe revisit later, there's no pressure, or kill it outright. And one skill I would say that's very valuable is your ability to kill ideas that are leeches. Okay, these ideas can actually become leeches if you sit on them for too long. It's always kind of in the back of your mind, and heaven forbid you see something come out on the market that is similar or the same as what you come up with, because that can lead to regret or a level of animosity, which I don't want you to have to experience, my friend. So I first, when I'm helping people get to market, I first make sure they have that conviction, because without it, it's really hard to do any of the other following steps. The next video I'm going to do is a secondary process, which is checking off criteria. Every idea has to satisfy a certain list of check boxes, particularly 3, and I'll get into that. So if you're really looking for some help, if you want to get out of the position you're in, let's say you've been working on an idea for a long time and just haven't been getting results, I can help you with that. I've got a full-fledged team. I've got engineers. I can help people get to market. I've got marketers, and we've got the resources to help you, but you got to have the conviction. In fact, my company is derived based on that. It's called Invent WP, which stands for Invent with Passion. I can't work with anybody that's not passionate about what they have in mind. It's got to be something you'll put your whole heart and mind into. All right. Now, it doesn't mean you got to quit your job. Doesn't mean you have to take all these sacrifices and such. To some degree, that's true, but we'll make sure it's within reason. So check out my website, inventwp.com. If you have any questions, if you need some general guidance, just contact me directly on LinkedIn. And I know it's over 5 minutes, but forgive me, guys. Forgive me. All right. Have a great day. I wish you the absolute best.